as agreed by the Committee of the Community Safety, we are not going to take the deliberation on issues which are related to other matters that are not in line with what we want to achieve today. And also, let me also apologize. I've already apologized at the beginning. We are apologizing to start our meeting very late. It's not due to the reason that we are undermining the stakeholders together with the staff of the community safety. We were in our community safety meeting where we were busy with the committee report of the fourth quarter, which need to be discussed next week. I hope our apology is accepted, and don't be cross with us. And I know that today we'll be able to achieve our objective positively. Feel free, you are welcome. We'll be able to use all the different languages. I'll explain after I've declared the venue a precinct of the legislator. Honorable members, let me move to the declaration of the precinct. The chairperson of the Committee on Community Safety declared the Laudium Civic Center as the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature as follows. I, Honorable Alfina Ndlovana, the chairperson of the Community Safety Committee, hereby declare Laudium Civic Center as the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature in terms of Rule 56 of the Standing Rule of the Gauteng Legislature, read together with Section 1 and 2 and Section 28 of the Powers, Privileges, and Immunities of the Parliament and Provincial Legislature, Act Number 4 of 204. The precinct of the Parliament Provincial Legislature are described as follows. 1, the precinct of the Parliament is the area of the land and every building or part of the building under the Parliament control include A, the chamber in which the proceeding of the houses conducted and the galleries and the lobbies of the chamber. B, every part of the building in which the chamber are situated and every forecourt, yard, garden, enclosure or open space, apartment thereto. C, committee rooms and other meetings place provided or used primarily for the Parliament purpose. And D, every other building or part of the building provided or used in connection with the proceedings of the Parliament while so used. For the duration of this meeting, honorable members and stakeholders, this place will be the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Thus, the standing rule of the legislature will apply and govern and all the engagement of the day. I thank you. Ralekopa, rekamo parlamenteng ya Gauteng hona byanong. The precinct has been declared that this is a parliament of Gauteng. We will use all the rules and regulations. If you want to raise a question, don't howl. Raise your hand, you will be noted, and you will be given the time to raise the issues which you want to raise. Ralokopa tswetswe, rekamo parlamenteng hona byanong ya Gauteng. Thank you. The purpose of the session, I'll request Honorable Member Kanyile to do the purpose of the session for us. Member Kanyile, over to you.
Chair, I thought you were going to explain the translation first before because maybe some people won't be able to follow what I'm going to be saying.
I don't hear you. Okay, first. Okay. And do the purpose of the meeting. Stakeholders and the staff of the community safety. There are translation channels which we are going to use, those that they want to listen the presentation in English is one. Let me find out first, are all the gadgets distributed, or we'll request people to raise hand, those that they want to use the gadget. Okay, thank you. The Africans channel is number 2. The Sepedi Setswana channel is number 5. isiZulu, isiNdebele channel is number 4. Chivenda and Xitsonga is channel 3. I'm going to request that those that they want to listen to the presentation in one of these languages which I've mentioned, let them raise the hand so that you will be provided with the gadget. Ke kopa ba ba le kopang ho utlwela di presentation e ka leleme la bo bona, isaeda la Setswana, la Sepedi, la Sindebele, le Chivenda, re kopa re lemise matsoho ba kgone ho fa gadget so that you will be able to get the language which you want. Have everyone received the gadget? While they are distributing the gadget, let me acknowledge the Deputy Chief, Ntate Basil Nkwashu, and also the Deputy Chief Rex Mashangu. Bagayibon, who are they? You need to greet. And also, let me acknowledge the MMC for community safety from the city of Tshwane, Grand TNS. And also, let me acknowledge the chairperson of the Section 79 of the Community Safety, Nkele Molapo, our former colleague. Why baba no saba papatele matsoho o papatela omowan? That's not how you should behave. No. If you clap hands for everyone. Yes. And also, the stakeholders from, I think we are having stakeholders, all the different stakeholders from, we've got Refilwe, Sokulumi, Taxi Tienkangala, Lethabong, Camille's Drift, Mamelodi East, Nel Mafias, Atteridgeville, Oliven Oud, Lotus, Pumolong, Harankue, and Laudium, Itireleng, Juville, Iesteres, and also Kibonebo Meba, the NGO, Leheba Sabangwalamo. We will request the list here or update where you acknowledge all the women NGOs who have attended today and all our officials from community safety. If it was not you, we will not be here. Yes, you are all welcome. Then let me hand over to Honorable Kanyile for doing the purpose of the meeting. Over to you, Honorable Kanyile.
Thank you, Chair. The Portfolio Committee on Community Safety of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature has a responsibility to ensure that the Gauteng Department of Community Safety, led by MEC Mazibuko, is able to do what it commits to doing to ensure that the people of Gauteng are and they feel safe. Amongst the ways in which we do oversight on the department is that we conduct what is called a focused intervention study, where we look at one of the programs of the department and get into detailed interrogation of that program so that we can see how effective it is and also make necessary recommendations if we think there's intervention that must take place. So for this period, we have identified roads, the reduction of road traffic crashes and fatalities as one of the programs that the department said they are prioritizing or they've prioritized in the previous financial year. So we want to get details on that so that we can make the necessary interventions. But one of the important mandates of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature and therefore its committees is that when we do oversight, we must also ensure that we get views from the public or stakeholders. It is in that regard that we've invited you to be part of this meeting as members of the public to comment if the things that are going to be presented by the department, you know of them, you agree with them, or there are suggestions you have. So because we also believe in cooperative governance, it is in that regard that we've also invited municipalities to also listen to the presentation, make comments, make additions, assist the committee in any follow-up questions, so that at the end we are able to make the necessary intervention recommendations as a committee. So it is in that regard that we're here, and we're hoping that you will participate accordingly as soon as the presentation is done. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Kanyile, for giving us the purpose of the session of today. I will be requesting Ndate Maisela to do the presentation in terms of the plans to enhance road safety towards a reduction of the road crashes and fatalities. After the presentation, we will be giving the stakeholders the time to give us the inputs with regard to how do they want to see the changes with regard to reducing the road fatalities, and what are the issues which are affecting that. Ndate Maisela, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, honorable members, MMC Chairperson, colleagues and stakeholders, good morning. I will be presenting on road fatalities, but more importantly, I'll be talking around the issues, what are the measures that are there to try and cap these fatalities. My presentation will look at the fatalities between 2018 to 2021. We will look at different road strategies and objectives that are there. We will summarize the operations that are there looking at this. I will then look at the integrated plans by all law enforcement agencies within the province. Then look at monitoring of these operations, and finally the evaluation. I think I have some challenges here, so. No, I can't help you. That's fine. Chair, I will be using my device because this seems to be a challenge with the marker here. Now, Gauteng, as we all know, that the mandate of the Department of Community Safety is to ensure that all citizens in the province are and they feel safe. In line with vision of the department is to make sure that we have a safe and secure province. And Gauteng, being the economic hub of South Africa, has the challenge of addressing safety needs of the large population. This includes human population, about 15.2 million. Approximately 1 in every 4 persons in the country resides in Gauteng. The vehicle population for Gauteng is 4.9 million, accounting for 38% of all vehicles registered in the country. You will also know that road users in every category are forever present in the road 24/7. One of the challenges that we have is that we have different law enforcement agencies, but the work that they are doing is at times fragmented, and as a result of that, what compounds the problem is that no law enforcement except the SAPS are actually declared as an essential service. In Gauteng, we have the 3 metropolis departments who are servicing different metros, and they contribute up to 80% of all road fatalities. The pillars of the road safety strategy talk to the police visibility in all our areas, talk to the road safety environment, pedestrian safety, traffic law enforcement, and institutional arrangement. Now, if we proceed, you will see that in Gauteng, between 2018 and 2021, the major contributing factor or the main factor that kills the people are actually accidents, and the people who are contributing more on the accident are actually pedestrians. Pedestrians are but one of the road user category, and in 2018 there were 2,535 pedestrians that perished on our roads. In 2019 it was 2,635. 2020 it was 1,948. Let me pause here. You will remember that in 2020 we had the Disaster Management Act that came into being. We had up to level 5 lockdown. As a result of the limitation of the movement of the people, it was for this reason that even vehicular traffic became very low. Because of the low vehicular traffic, it was for this reason that even fatalities went down. In 2021, when the DMA was actually reduced, we again had a spike of pedestrian fatalities to 2,610. Now, what this means, all these figures means that on a day, an average of 7 people are killed on the roads in Gauteng. That is Gauteng only. And as I've already said, that curfew actually assists us in the reduction of the fatalities, but most of the time you find that year on year we have the increase in fatalities, particularly on this category of pedestrian. Among the factors that contribute to this are drinking and walking, jaywalking, crossing at places where it is unsafe to do so, pedestrians who are walking on the freeways or even crossing freeways. But the spatial arrangement also contribute to that, because you find that in other areas, the residential area is this side, the amenities of life are on this side, meaning people are actually forced to cross the freeway either to go to the shops, to draw water, to go to school, or even to get public transport. Now, more often than not, you find that people cannot measure the speed of a car that is coming. Most of the time, people will think that I will beat that car. I will run and beat the car, only to find that this car is more faster than you think. And that's how most of the time they got knocked down. Now, I've already spoken about pedestrian as one category, but you also have other categories of road users. You have drivers, you have passengers, you have motorcyclists, you have cyclists, and I will talk about this one, the so-called unknown category of road users. Now, as I've already said, in 2018, there were 1,243 only road users that perished on the road. In 2019, there were 1,218 road users that perish on the road. And when I say road users, I'm merely concentrating on pedestrians. In 2020, as I've already mentioned, because of the Disaster Management Act, we had a reduction. We only had 904 pedestrians that perished on our roads. In 2021, we had 1,270 pedestrians that perished. Now, if you look at all these numbers, you'll see that 48% of our fatalities are actually pedestrians, while drivers contribute 24%, passengers 20%, motorcyclists 5%, and cyclists only 2%. Now, coming to look at the fatalities of pedestrian versus motor vehicle occupants, you will see that Johannesburg Metro is actually leading with 1,290, followed by Tshwane with 1,280. Ekurhuleni contributes 1,097, while the lowest municipality is Lesedi with 115 pedestrians. Now, the next thing is that you then look at what time of the day do these fatalities happen. Most of these fatalities, they happen between the peak period, which is between 5 and 9 in the evening. This is what you call a busy period, when there is quite a lot of movement of people. But between 5 and 9, that's where we have most of these pedestrians. But Non-pedestrian fatalities, which will be your motor vehicle accident, they also happen between 5 and 12 midnight. Now, if you look at on which days, statistics shows us that when it comes to the weekends, from Thursday, you see the peak of accident actually coming up. For example, on Thursday, between January and December 2021, you find that 440 pedestrians were knocked down just on Thursday. It increases to 752 on Friday. Saturday, it's 1,118, only pedestrians. I haven't spoken about motorists, only pedestrians. Then it goes down to 889 on Sunday. So the trend is consistent that says as soon as the weekend start, when people start going to parties, going to places of entertainment and drinking, as soon as they drink, they go to the road. But also drivers, as soon as the weekend start, they start going to your news cafe, your drawers, and come out very excited and again go on the road. That contribute to the fatalities. Having said all these things, maybe the question might be, so what? What do we do with this information? There have been various strategies and various plans that have been initiated and implemented to deal with this one. One, the MEC for Community Safety has what is called a delivery agreement with the Premier, which delivery agreement says, in my contract, I will reduce road fatalities. I will make sure that the situation change. Two, we have the National Road Safety Strategy, which also says to us, in implementing the strategy, you need to look at various categories. You need to look at the road environment, the kinds of the roads we have. You need to look at the road user, both the driver and the pedestrian, whether are they fit when they go to the road. But you also need to look at institutional arrangement. In other words, how are different law enforcement agencies working together to try and deal with this? But lastly, South Africa is part of the Road Safety Decade of Action, and it has committed in the reduction of road fatalities, and we need to live up to that commitment. Now, at the end of the strategic planning on public transport, the minister indicated critical issues that we need to deal with. But more importantly is that in terms of road law enforcement need to begin to deal with road fatalities as business unusual. Which means is that because Gauteng is the major contributor, partly because Gauteng is a source. By source, I mean most people leave from Gauteng to go to other provinces, or people come to Gauteng from other provinces. So it's both a source and the receiving. And as a result, we need to up our mark in dealing with these challenges. Subsequent to that, what we plan to do is that, one, to have what is called high-density operations, but target critical period, which I will mention which period are those. 3, look at the focus areas. But 4, start communicating messages, including awareness campaign around road safety. When we speak of high-density operations, we speak of things like, instead of talking all the time to pedestrians, that there is now a need to also begin arresting pedestrians for violation of road rules. 2, deal extensively with cases of reckless and negligent driving by motorists. 3, encourage the culture of buckling up, wearing of safety belts, but also child restraints. One of the problems, Chair, is that most motorists find it fashionable while driving to put a child either on a front seat or on his or her lap while driving. Just imagine what happens if that car has to stop fast or another car hit that car. That child is not restrained by anything. That's why you find in most accidents, these kids actually go through the windscreen. Then there is an issue of tires, worn out tires, but also these retreads that are sold on the roads and are actually not safe for the vehicles. Then there is an issue of substance and drug abuse by road users, both pedestrians and motor drivers. Every time when they get drunk, they think of the car, they start driving, either from nightclubs, from parties. And remember, once you have consumed something that makes you excited, even your reaction or the level of awareness on the road gets diminished. So the reaction time becomes a problem. But some of the people, when they get drunk, they decide to go on the road, either with dark clothes or with earphones, such that they can't even hear the hood of the car. Then there is, in particular with public transport drivers, your taxis and buses, there is an issue of fatigue. A driver of a taxi or a bus can say, I will drive to Cape Town, drop people, bring them back without resting, because they are chasing money. This person gets tired, this person is fatigued or feels sleepy behind the wheel, loses control, and you can imagine what happens then. There is an issue of driver behavior. While the issue, people are saying, Chairperson, polo drivers are the most dangerous drivers because of the way they drive, but experience have taught that our drivers are very impatient with each other on the road. And might I, at the risk of being controversial, say, especially male drivers, you do one mistake, he says, "Ungixwayela hampi, ungixwayela kabi ngizokubonisa." That's where road rage starts, and that's what contributes also to accidents. Then there is an issue of speed. Some people will hear them talking that, Mina, it takes me 10, 15 minutes from Pretoria to Joburg. Imagine what speed that person is driving. Or from here to Durban, while it's 6 hours, Mina, I do it with 4 hours. Imagine what speed that person is driving. Then there is an issue of intolerance of drivers between drivers and motorcyclists or cyclists on the road. Now, there are what you call critical dates, which are really dates that make it difficult or increase more fatalities. Those are dates between 1 to 12 April, which is the build-up to Easter. Then it's 13 to 18 April, which is your Easter period. 26 to 2 May, which is your long weekends. That include your Freedom Day, Workers' Day. Then you have the Youth Month in June. August, you have Women's Month. September, you have Heritage Month. These are months which have holidays. So days before holidays, days before public holidays, that's where you have most people either traveling to and out of the province, having more social gathering, more parties, then driving after that, which then contributes also to more of these carnages. As a result, law enforcement operations on these critical dates need to be intensified because you know that there will be quite a lot of lawlessness on our roads. Transport Month, which concentrates on public transport vehicles in October. Then you have 25 to 10 December, 16 days of violence against women and children. After that, you then start the festive season operations, which is 1 to 15 December. That's where most of the travelers to and out of provinces are taking place, and more public road vehicles are actually taking place. Then in February, you have Safety Month, which is also a problem. Now, the focus areas for these critical days is around traffic law enforcement, crime prevention operations. Because remember, most of the crime also happen on the roads. Stolen goods, criminals are transported on our roads, but issues around by-law enforcement also play a critical role. The closure of education and learning institutions, driver education. We also have what is called mass loading, the so-called Malaysia. These are the vehicles that are carrying heavy loads to neighboring provinces. Now, you find that a vehicle is carrying heavy load. As a result, the reaction of the driver or the weight of the load makes it difficult for this vehicle to actually stop in an emergency. Alternatively, because of the heavy load that the vehicle is carrying, it actually becomes unroadworthy. An unroadworthy vehicle is actually an accident waiting to happen. Then we are saying, in making sure that all these initiatives I'm talking about need to succeed, we need to start communicating messages that says unsafe behavior has consequences. You might have seen there have been different messages. For example, the quadruple people will have messages like reduce accident, we don't want more members. You will have other messages that speed kills, drive carefully. But also, you also make sure that you encourage motorists to voluntarily comply with the rules of the road. We also market road safety slogans. More importantly, we teach the culture of tolerance among road users. Including the legislature, all these campaigns are then monitored and evaluated to see to what extent are they actually bearing any fruits. Now, in Gauteng, all law enforcement agencies come together in what is called Gauteng Law Enforcement Agencies. They have a subcommittee on road fatalities where they give a picture of how are road fatalities in the province and then look at what intensified operations need to take place and adopt and adjust their plans to make sure that they address these problems. Having said all this, there are, however, risks that are associated with this. Among the risks that are there is one, the ever-present risk of bribery and corruption, not only from our officers, but also from motorists and community members. Remember, it takes two to tango. Motorists are also bribing officers. When the motorist is supposed to be fined, you will hear them either say, "Asikhulume," or they say, "Nah, you cold drink." The cold drink has become very expensive, Chair, because there is a cold drink for 50 rands or a Coca-Cola for 100 rand a can. Then there are issues around the 24/7 deployment. What is happening is that, in particular, taxi drivers have this language to say, let's leave at 12 or let's leave at 11. Traffic officers are sleeping. We are now saying officers need to be on the road 24/7. If it's during Easter, people who are leaving Gauteng, you make sure that there are traffic officers up until 10. If you manage to escape in Gauteng at 10, you must find in Mpumalanga that the shift started at 10. So they are fresh, they can be able to deal with you. If you manage to escape Mpumalanga, Free State operation might have started at 12 midnight. No matter how lucky you are, you can't escape all of them. At some time, you'll have to be caught somewhere. But when coming back from your holiday destination, the receiving province, which will be Gauteng, you then make sure that your shift starts early in the morning. So that if you left KZN at 10, hoping to come to Gauteng, say at 4, because you think traffic officers will be asleep, you find that they are only coming to duty that time. So we hope that will then assist in dealing with these carnages. But one of the problems which we are still trying to lobby is the fact that road traffic offenses are not prioritized by SAPS. And remember, what happened, traffic officers will open a case, then hand it to the SAPS. But you find that they will tell you that we have more priorities investigation than traffic offenses. Now we are lobbying that traffic officers need to have the investigating capacity so that they begin investigating traffic offenses. And that will actually reduce the number of cases that are withdrawn that concern traffic cases. Then there is a vandalism of road furniture. It has become fashionable for people to destroy robots or to steal stop sign or information signs. That on its own is a challenge that needs to be dealt with, because as a result of that, if there are no stop signs, there are no robots, it becomes difficult for road users to be regulated. But more importantly, you also find that the road environment, some roads with more potholes, some without road markings, becomes a problem. The challenges around ARTO, Chair, you will remember that one of the challenges with ARTO now that there are areas that are not regulated by ARTO, and as a result, you can't, for example, give a citation outside an ARTO area, or you cannot arrest in an ARTO area, which is also a challenge. Chairperson, members, and ladies and gentlemen, that constitutes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Maisela, for the presentation, which will give the stakeholders and the MMC and the chairperson the guideline. I'll hand over to Member Bosch to facilitate the deliberation inputs from the stakeholders. Member Bosch, over to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for being here today. I think just as we start off with stakeholder engagements and inputs from our various stakeholders, I'm first going to give an opportunity to the MMC. MMC Tennyson, if you would maybe want to give us your input first, and then after that the chairperson, Chairperson Mulapo, if you would maybe want to also give some input before we start with further engagements from anyone else. Is that in order? Okay, there is a roving microphone. I just need to get it. Okay, there is, can I ask the MMC to come to the front, perhaps? Chair. Okay, there's a microphone over there, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity. I've made some notes, and there are some matters that are really concerning. One of them, some of them were mentioned during the presentation here this morning. Now, one of the serious things that seems to be quite a big problem is the number of passengers who are being killed on the roads. 20%, if I can remember correctly. The question I have is, how many of those passengers were passengers on public transport? Taxis, buses, etc. That leads me to the next point. We know of the road of death, which is also known as the Maloto Road. Quite on numerous occasions, there's been serious accidents with a lot of people losing their lives in that area due to the condition of the road. And it's been around for many years in terms of that. Another matter of concern is specifically on the N4. We've recently had the situation where people were not hijacked but spiked, which led to the death of 2 people. We have it on numerous occasions also on the Mpumalanga side of the N4, where spiking is a serious problem. So that needs to be addressed in the form of crime prevention there, because there are regular hotspots where this happens. Chair, then I would also like to mention the fact that, which was raised, the one of bribes. It's not always just bribes. It's also a matter of extortion. And there are Metro Police who are guilty of that. There's also national and all the different role players who are involved in that. And I think it is time that there's consequence management. We need to establish a joint way of dealing with this, where we can have a unit who actually, and a helpline. If I'm pulled off tonight, I should know what my rights are. I'm in the process of preparing a campaign in that regard. I've spoken to our communication department to assist me in this regard. Motorists must know what are my rights when I'm pulled off. I've got on my table lying at least 15 cases where Metro Police officers have been accused of extortion, ranging from 600 Rand to 9,000 Rand, which they are claiming from people. There's rumors going around that they are pulling people over and doing tests on breathalyzer tests, and there's tampering with the breathalyzer test by using hand sanitizer on those equipment. Those are the type of things that need to be addressed, and we must find a way. Over and above that, we must have a hotline where if I'm pulled over tonight by a ruthless traffic officer, that I can call this hotline where I can report it, and somebody should be sent out to investigate that matter right there and then. That's one of the ways we'll address it. So I'm working on a plan in that regard. My 2 deputy chiefs who are here are aware of that situation. Then another problem, or not a problem, a suggestion. We know in KZN there's quite ruthless consequence management in terms of speeding. Why don't we also look at the possibility of using the e-toll gantries for average speed monitoring? I'm sure with minor adjustments that could be quite an effective method of reducing the speed on our highways. And then lastly, Chair, I think it's also necessary to start regulating the heavy traffic on the freeways. We see 3 to 4 heavy vehicles driving next to each other on the freeway, causing impatience by other motorists. We should have some sort of a regulation in place where there's lanes reserved for these vehicles so that people can move freely in other vehicles. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I would hand over to the Chairperson for Community Safety, Chairperson Mulapo, for input.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Member Bosch, and good day, everybody. Mine is just, all right, so we are here for a presentation on the plans to reduce road traffic crashes. And I'm sitting here, man, I'm worried, colleagues, I'm worried. Looking at the stats, we are not reducing the numbers. We've had, for the past 4 years, we've had a 34% increase in the road fatalities. Something is not right. We are not doing something right. And I was talking to the MMC here. I was talking to MMC Tenezen here, and we actually laughed about it. But maybe we need to do something radical. The plans that I've had are things that we've been doing. Maybe it's a high time we go, we implement something radical like criminalizing drinking and walking. And we actually laughed about it, the MMC and I. Because I'm looking at the stats again. You've got an average of seven pedestrians being killed on the roads. So perhaps if we can look at, normally you would have an operation as traffic department. You would have an operation where you are stopping cars and you are testing if the driver is drunk and all of that. Perhaps it's time now we go and do the same with the pedestrians. Find a way of testing, and we actually laughed about it. Testing pedestrians if they are they've reached the limit, the alcohol limit in their system, and maybe that would assist. But another point, as you said, Chief, is it the Chief? You said that SAPS is not taking these offenses, the traffic offenses, seriously. And for me, that is a problem, that is a challenge, but I didn't hear what is the plan to address that challenge. And maybe it would assist to hear what are we doing to mitigate that. If we've identified that as a problem, we should be able to then say, this is what we are doing to address this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So just before I go over to everyone else, I would like to call on the Akasha stakeholders, which forms part of the R80 group, CPF, Obed, Marke, and Susie over here. Okay. Can we just get a microphone to them, please?
Thank you, Chairperson, the Chief, and the rest of your staff. My name is Obet Mongake. I'm one of the CPF Acacia committee member. Acacia, it's an area that includes Orchards, Teresa Park, Clarina, Amanda Sech, and other related suburbs like Unina Parks, etc. Our input it's in threefold. I think it's a pity. The first one is the most unfortunate one, where our RTO system already, it's a pity. You know, it does have a lot of legal challenges. As far as I'm concerned, it was a very good system. I understood the system, and in our community, you know, education sort of programs, we were actually, going around and educating people to understand so that they can actually accept the actual RTO as a program. It's a pity at you guys' level, the program obviously it does carry a couple of legal challenges. It's just one of those things, and I think us coming from a suburb, we are fortunate in a sense that where there is there are some speeding irregularities, we are able to call the councillor and be able to raise and ensure that we raise a request for us to have speed bumps. But I know that our counterparts that are situated in townships and villages, they don't experience similar privileges. So that is something that, Chairperson, I mean, you need to look at your other sort of, portfolio heads to also prioritize, the support that you normally provide to us in a suburb. So, for example, if you look at Harankua, you look at Soshanguve, you look at Atteridgeville and other related townships, you will find locals that are actually speeding. But when there is a request for a speed hump to be erected, it takes long, Chairperson. It takes long. In most cases, it never even materializes. So that is something that I think if we are really keen to be able to reduce or to assist in the decline of these negative statistics that the Chief has just shared with us, I think we need to prioritize, speed hump requests that normally comes from these townships. And then there is also an element of safety. Most of the challenges that we receive from our township counterparts, you find that most of the CPFs, they're not as resourced again as us in the suburbs. We will be able to have budget for whistles. We'll have budget for reflectors. We'll have budget for walkie-talkies. But such privileges, Chairperson, and to the rest of your committee members, you need to look at ensuring that you do resource, or rather put together incentivization programs that would enable a whole lot of community CPFs that are coming from townships and villages. So those are the inputs that we just wanted to make. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I think just before we go over to, Susie. Where's Susie? There. Over there.
Good morning. My name is Susie from Acacia. My input, Chairperson, I would like to ask you about people who are transporting our kids to school. At least you can have a meeting with them for just awareness about, just to check their cars, whether they are roadworthy. Some are using even the polos to transport to.
Re kopa o ntshe mask mme. Thank you. My name is Susie from Acacia. One of my inputs to you, our chairperson, is to have maybe at least quarterly to have a meeting with people who are transporting our kids to school, and even to check their cars if they are roadworthy, even to check if these cars, even the numbers inside the cars, if, some are using the polos to transport kids to school. And inside that polo, maybe they are more than 10 or 15. Are they allowed to put that number inside the car? Is it the number that that it's safe for our kids, even if they get an accident? Are you going to be able to pay us the roadworthy if we report the matter to the accident to you? The second one is N4. The Spikers are 80, and the Brett's Road, I think the developed one. How can you assist us on that? Last time I posted something, and most of the time where the Spikers are, they will be starting with, you will see the 3 to 4 flags. That's the sign of people who will be doing that, who will be coming to operate. Before they operate, they have something, the warning that they give you. When you see the 3 flags, it's green, red, it's just on the bush. You must know that something is going to happen after that. The other one, it's in that road, I don't know which, the Southpan Road to Soshanguve. When you are from the R80, you turn to Southpan Road, and there you turn left. I forgot that. When you go straight to next to the PP or RR, there is an open space this side, just on top there. You must just look at there. You are going to see the signs of the green, red, and white flags. I reported it many times. And after that, those people will be starting with their operation. That's their ops plan. We have to monitor the area, and even that one of developed. When you turn from Rankua, you turn right to Rustenburg or Bratz. On the left, it's an open space. There were 3 flags there, green, red, and green. And after some months, they start with their operation. Can you please, when you go, don't close your eyes. Open your eyes everywhere. Where there is an open space, you see that flag, you must know that after that something is going to happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to start with a round of feedback on these questions before we will continue with the second round of questions. So I have noted your hand, but we will just wait until the next round of questions.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to answer only 2 questions because I'm in a disadvantageous position. I'm from the other side of the province. So the colleagues who are this side will answer, especially regional managers on the roads that I mentioned. But Chair, let me start with the question asked both from the MMC and the Chair. Chair, we are now agitating for the use of what is called e-policing, so that you have what is called body cam and dash cam for traffic officers, so that when you stop a vehicle, there is a camera on me that is connected to the control room. If I decide to solicit bribe, the control room can actually see that I'm getting money. Or if I stop a motorist, I don't talk to him next to the door. We rather come in front of the car where there is the dash camera. The command center can also see our interaction. That's one way of trying to stop bribery and corruption. But the reality of the situation is that until such time that there is a strong deterrent, we have what is called name and shame or a register of corrupt officers that might assist to deal with both bribery and extortion. Chairperson, what happened was we had this engagement with SAPS, and what they were saying to us is that you traffic guys are actually contributing to our civil claims. And their argument is that if I know your address, why must I arrest you and put you on the cells instead of giving you a citation? But our argument is that even here now, very few people have IDs with them here. So if I write you a ticket, I need your ID number. So if you don't have your ID number, how will it help to give you a ticket? But it's like a slap in the wrist. But if we arrest you, we take you to a cop shop for either walking on the freeway or jaywalking, it will assist. But the flip side of it, the SAPS will tell you that because you arrest them, you leave them, we actually get sued. And imagine our liability bill for civil claims, which is quite a significant one. On the issue of speeding, we have cars. I'm not going to tell you how they look like, but they are unmarked cars, which we are dealing with in recording the speed and making sure that without seeing a traffic officer, if you speed because you think there is no camera somewhere, you will just be shocked by a car stopping you and telling you that you are actually speeding. Gone are those days when we were called animals that emerge from the bushes. We are now following you, recording your speed on an unmarked vehicle. And at least that's easier, especially people from Nkangala and Sokulumi. Some of them are our client because they know. We greet them and invite them to the cop shop because they don't know those cars that are marked. I'm going to request, with your permission, Chair, that the colleagues, especially regional managers, can answer around issues of spiking, the issues around learner transport, and the testing of learner transport vehicles. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Can we just get a roving microphone to the front? Who's going to go first in responding? Please just give a microphone to the front.
Good morning or good afternoon, honorable members, and thank you for the comments and the questions that have been raised. I've noted an issue of the spikes around Acacia and the R8. Fortunately, we have a joint command center with SAPS, with our district commissioner in Tshwane. The matter is on their table, and they are currently doing plans.
Okay, sorry, apologies. Can I just ask that you raise your voice or speak into the mic? It's a little bit difficult to hear.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you. I was saying the issue of the spikes. Fortunately, there is a committee with the district commissioner, SAPS, for Tshwane. There's a committee that is currently dealing with the issue of the spikes along N4 East and the R8. And the issue of the learner transport is regulated, Mama, and all the problem with learner transport is the business is between the parents and the operators. We get in there where the people have got permits. We normally have operations at the schools around Tshwane, because I'm working around Tshwane, where we check the roadworthiness of those vehicles and even the issue of the number of the learners that are carried on those vehicles. But we have noted, Mama, we'll still continue to do it at this. It is part of our daily duties. Thank you.
Please just remove your mask when you speak on the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for raising your concern, honorable members. For Moloto Road, we understand your frustration. Even myself, I'm working at the Moloto. That Moloto Road belongs to me. And then the problem or the unfortunate part of it, Moloto is now taken by Sanral. It's no longer belongs to Department of Roads and Transport. It's on Sanral. I always fight with them, there are potholes on Moloto, and especially after rain, there are potholes on Moloto Road and people are dying because of the potholes. They can come and patch only that portion. They will explain to me, because of the financial constraint, we are still busy with it, but we are fighting. I do have a proof of how do I communicate with them. I always go there and take pictures. Even last week I was there checking how is, because the people's death, it's my concern. If people are dying on Moloto Road, it's our concern. We are now dealing with it, and I thank you.
Okay, can I just get confirmation if any of the members from Tshwane would also like to respond from the Tshwane Metro Police? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, honorable members and chairperson. From Tshwane Metropolis is that we are having what we call is a freeway patrol, which operates 24/7 within the major route in terms of the spiking. What we normally do is we patrol your R80, your N4, but we shall make a point that we patrol, I think it's Honor Stepot Road that the lady has just alluded now. What we have, we're having, as my colleagues has already alluded, we're working closely with the district commissioner, is that the closest police station that deploying vehicles there which are patrolling the freeway to deal with the spike problem. I know we have arrested a number of them, but jointly with the colleagues from SAPS. So we shall intensify the patrol around R80 as a major one. And from Honest Port, the places that we have been mentioned now, we shall also make sure that we intensify patrol along those routes. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now move over to questions from the rest of the community. So I would like to see that if you've got a question, please just raise your hand. We're going to do 2 rounds of questions, of 5 questions at a time, and then we're going to take some responses, and then we'll continue with the next round. I just want to ask that when you ask a question, please just introduce yourself. Just tell us who you are, where you're from, and if there's a specific organization that you are representing, that you also just indicate that. Please remove your mask when you are speaking. Speak into the mic, and I'm going to limit it to 2 minutes per person. So when there's 30 seconds left, I'm going to tell you 30 seconds left, and then I'm going to ask her to please wrap up your question. So let me note hands. I'm going to start with this lady in the front as number 1, number 2, number 3 in the middle, and then number 4 at the back. Is there someone else on this side that would like to be number 5? Yeah, I've got number 5, number 4 at the back there. I'll move to this side secondly. Okay, so I just want to finish this side. Okay, number 5 over there. Okay, so that is our first 5 questions. So let's start with this lady in front. Please just remember, introduce yourself and where you're from, and 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Mary Murudu. I'm staying in Pretoria Central Town. My concern is that is on the freeways. I've seen, I'm not sure if those walls from the location or the suburbs that are next to the freeways, like in Hammanskraal, there are walls there that limit the people to come through to the freeways. But those walls are not monitored because the people are breaking those walls. Who's making a follow-up of that? And who's monitoring that? And I always see I think these are the freeway policing. But most of the time, those people are just sitting on the side of the road, not doing anything. Can somebody be, can there be a monitor, maybe a traffic officer working with those freeway policing on the freeways? And the other things that I would like to talk about is also the potholes, especially when it rains. The potholes are being filled with water. You don't see a pothole that is there, and then you ultimately got injured, or the car got injured, and people are getting killed. So I think the problem here is monitoring and following up if the things that have been done are benefiting for whatever is being done.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, just please remember you are welcome to make suggestions as well. Okay, next in the front here, number 2, just stand up. Sorry, this is not number 2. Number 2 is Councillor Novina over here.
Morning, everybody. I'm Councillor Novina Pillay. I just want to make a suggestion. Number 1, I want to talk about Maloto Road. Maloto Road, we cannot complain about the potholes and blame the potholes. There something should be done about the Patco buses, because these buses drive the vehicles out of the road to pass you. They don't care if there's a string of cars. I've lived in Maloto, I've used that road daily, and they used to drive me daily out of the road. I had to give way. So we cannot blame it on potholes. Then I would like to make a suggestion regarding school transport. Driving around as a councillor, I see a lot of these unsafe vehicles. We understand people want to make money and it's a quick buck, but we cannot make money and put kids' lives in danger. So my concern is, if you want to have transport school kids, I would suggest that taxi driver that want to provide a service for parents to transport their children to school is to actually go into the school, speak to the principal, so that the principal can make sure, vet this person, and make sure that the vehicle is on the road and that they have the necessary requirements that it should be going with transporting children, the same as transporting a normal taxi. So this should be done, because transporting, you see, they're overloaded and it looks like these kumbis are falling apart. So that is the best suggestion I can have. Go speak to the schools and see how they can transport the children. And the school must then get the traffic department or metro or SEPs in, let them be vetted, and then give them the clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 3 was at the back, we're in the middle.
Stokose sanibona noke hello. Ngusara Giana Mahlangu lesikhathu uchairperson wethu announce lapha irithabiseni uye wayikhohlwa nakhona le irithabiseni sikhona lapha sijabulela ukuthi sizokulalela okanye sijabulela ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi nathi sokuthola izeluleko la ekhaya. Ngakho ke nathi silethe izikhalo zethu okanye silethe imbono yethu. Umbono ke ebesinawo ebesiucela sicela ukuthi nengeze just increase our CPF because 2012 until 2018 I was a CPF and a patroller there at the schools. So now, can you please increase that there in the location must be all the locations because other locations they got CPF because after school the children they get out of the school and they beat each other there at the grounds because they are now out of the school. They are beating each other. So now may you please, the scholar transport, these small kids, they are small and they are beating each other in these small vehicles inside. So can you please, the one who is driving, put somebody who can just look for these children, not to beat each other. Just there be somebody who's a big person who is looking for these kids.
Thank you very much.
I'm Sarah Mahlang, Giana Mahlangu, retired.
Chair, when we start our meeting, we have said that we have declared this area as a precinct of the legislature. When a person speaks, whether irrelevant or irrelevant, please listen, and can we respect the precinct? Rekamo parlamenteng agere. Yes.
Dumelang, I'm Chanel from Ultrajville and the youth called Tshwane. Okay, now I want to ask, bothata go hore he ka itse molao wa tsela. He ke itse molao wa tsela nka sa mathomo nka se drive ke nwele beala nka se ire. Taba e thoma ko so ha re ka thoma ra lokisa bothata bo ha ona ka believe ya ka ke a tshepa hore ha ona motho leng hore a ka tshela melao ya tsela a ntse a irile license straight. Thank you.
Thank you. Then the member at the back, please. No, first at the back. And then we'll come to this side. Yes. Please remember, I noted hands at the start. So if your hand was not up at the start and I didn't recognize you, you will need to wait for the next round. We can't hear you. Please just speak into the mic.
Ishap. Oh yeah, Ishap. Ishap. Yeah, Ishap. Dumelani, Nalina Laka ke Happy Manyathela from Atteridgeville and the NPO called Debates at Tshwane. First of all, I'm very worried because Barry, they are working at traffic area, they are working 24/7. But hote naka freeway e yang kapeli, honali some people I kiti what's going on ne balatha mai modi screening tsa dikoloi hore ba kgone di tshwara poo. And traffic is not it aba follow up ka yona, and they say ba bereka 24/7. Okay? And then in terms of fatigue, ne ke khopela hore ha ono re le ka dumela gore okay, I have comments rather questions. So I'm saying hore ha ono re le ka khopela ha ono re le ka ira at least driver tse pedi from, let's say, here to Cape Town instead of driver A1. Okay? And then I also
30 seconds.
Okay. Okay, ne ke khopela ho proposal hore can you please send SMSs at least for hore safety, yeah, the accident, the drugs and stuff, make billboards and improve road signs. If 22% of people can be killed, why don't you create jobs to improve traffic officers? To employ people to close potholes, increase pumps and stuff.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and then the last person on this side, just behind the camera. Yes? You will have, no, yes, him. No, not you, on the right. Thank you. You'll have to wait for the next round. Thanks.
Good day. This is Kamogelo Malahlela from Garankuwa. Garankuwa, we fail to see the visibility of police officers or traffic officials. They are very limited. We get to not have proper road markings, and we experience too much high crime rate in terms of not having visibility of police officials or traffic officials. And we are next to that Mangope Road, which is a highway. We need a proper relevant communication that will be engaged through the traffic department. And also, we need to have a proper creation of the department, the traffic department, together with subs, to have a proper implementation on how are they going to monitor, create relationship with schools, create relationship with CPF members, create relationships amongst themselves. Also pedestrians, it's a very concern in terms of implementing road signs, pedestrian crossings, still they don't implement that. So in terms of having traffic officials, it will be better to have a proper movement of pedestrians and so on. And there's too much high speed within our communities by taxi drivers, especially those Avanzas. It's a problem because the implementation of the traffic departments is not implemented. And through the school legislations as given, the school has to have an adoption that has to be created to the schools. Traffic officials create relationships to have a database of transportation and to implement that through the basic education, having vetted drivers in the systems and so on. And by that way, we can move swiftly so and work together with the community and having a proper implementation in terms of the traffic officials and policy officials. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm now going to take 5 hands from this side of the hall. So let's see, I'm going to start number 1, number 2. Okay, so over there, watch it 1, number 2, the lady over there with a pink jersey, number 3, over there, number 4, he's number 2. Okay, so it's number 1, number 2. Do you want to ask a question? I'm going to make you then number 5. Okay, so it's 1, 2, the lady over there is 3, 4, and then 5 in front. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Councillor Tola here. I just wanted to alert the community safety members to some critical information which they may not be aware of. In terms of your provincial roads, there is currently no service level agreements or memorandums of understandings with the various municipalities. So that's why if you drive down the R55, the R80, R511, Tshwane is not taking care of those roads because that memorandum has lapsed. The previous memorandum was that the city would fix up the street lights, the potholes, and do the road markings. But currently, none of that is actually in place. And if you could actually speak to your infrastructure department about that, which may also improve the circumstances on provincial roads. Secondly, in terms of speed enforcement, I know when it comes to roads outside off the motorway, there's no minimum speed enforcement, but what I have seen is that there's no implementation of the minimum speeds on our freeways. So even on a clear day where there is no traffic, cars driving under 80 kilometers an hour are actually supposed to be pulled over and charged for driving under the speed limit. But that is not taking place, and that's why you get a lot of impatience from drivers as well. And I'm not sure about the new legislation that's come into place, because it seems like the roads outside of urban areas, the maximum speed limit has been adjusted to 100 kilometers, and it's no longer 80 kilometers. So that's why you find guys on the R80, the R511, R55 will be doing 100 kilometers an hour instead of doing the 80 kilometers, which your boards say. And you also will have troubles in terms of prosecuting that, because the Road Traffic Act says something completely different to what your speed enforcement says on those various
30
roads.
seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The gentleman in front, this front.
Thank you, Chairperson, everybody in the leadership. Speaking to you this morning is Chaplain Jeremiah Zulu, and also a director in Highway Ministry. Highway Ministry is based in Cape Town Park and also in Heidelberg, but I'm also working along with N4. I've been listening to the whole information, and my response, first of all, is to say, we all live with complaints. Can we also look at solutions? If you've got suggestions, let us also suggest, because where we see a problem, you might be the one that can bring solution. So I'm also going to say some of the things that I've heard you saying as part of the solution. I think parents and the school governing bodies, when it comes to transporting of children, they need to come together and make a team and speak one language. Let it not be the school doing the action and the parents doing complaining. Let they come together and say, this is what we want for the safety of our children. I think that will work better. On the roads, we need really inspectors who will see people who are patching the holes. Are they really doing it well? Because sometimes they close the holes. In 2 months down the line, without rain, it's starting again, the very same place where it was a problem. I say let us have inspector really who will check. After the work done, is it done well? Is it not just bribing and doing this and that? When it comes to bribing,
30 seconds.
Yes, when it comes to bribing, I think we all call ourselves people of religion, Christianity. Let us go back to the truth of God and start to say, I won't do what is not allowed by God. You have the right to say, no, I don't bribe. Even if somebody asks you for it, tell him, I'm a Christian or I'm a person who don't believe in that. Because that money that you are using, that money you are giving, you are actually at the end of the day bringing a curse to this person.
Thank you very much.
Yes, let me just say the last one, please.
Okay.
I believe that communities, religious faith people, we need to come together and start to come and form some strategies to go to school and make awareness on safety to the schools and also to the churches, because safety starts with you. We need also to go to the places and pray. where these accidents are taking place, because I believe it's a spirit that is haunting our people.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we are starting to run out of time, so we're going to finish this set of questions. What I do want to ask everyone else who still had their hands up, there will be an opportunity for you to submit your questions in writing on my left-hand side at the table over there. So please make sure that you do make your submissions in writing there, and it will be considered. So we're going to continue with the last 5 hands. Thank you.
Okay, greetings everyone. My name is Emma Tau from Nelmapias. I'm part of the community patrollers in Nelmapias. I just wanted to comment and give some suggestion. In Nelmapias, we need attention from the metropolis in the Alvein Road, corner Alvein and Kwakwa Street. Every morning from 6 o'clock, there's a traffic jam there. Then we've been trying to assist as patrollers, but it's not safe for us. So the metropolis, can you please come in? And Solomon Mahlangu, while we are patrolling from 12 midnight until 5 a.m., you'll hear gunshots, then you'll see a car coming like in that speed, running away from that. So we asking for visibility. Then there's also what we've realized, a gap between SAPS, Silverton and Metropolis. Because if we're facing something and a Metropolis van passes, we're asking for assistance, they'll say we cannot assist. So we'll have to wait for SAPS Silverton. So I'm just saying, can you please assist with bridging that gap? Then the issue of
30
drinking.
seconds, please finish up.
Last one is drinking and walking and public drinking. So you'll find around those 2 a.m., 3 a.m., people will be drinking, walking in the street while their cars moving. That one is a problem. We've tried to call the police. Then they told us public drinking doesn't apply anymore. So can you please assist on that one? I did not understand when they told me that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, number 4 over there. No, we already indicated which people would be speaking in this round. No, please just sit down. We have given an opportunity for written questions as well. So can we please continue?
Papawe. No, we are going to give you a chance now. Please. Ki kupile hore angere re ka mo parlamenteng a re tlolo. Yes. No, Papa we. Tapa. Ntate. No, Papa. Re kopa o tlhomphe ka re tlo le fa chance a re ra le stopa. Ka boikokobetso ka moya wa lerato ka moya wa khotso.
Thank you. Can we proceed? Please proceed.
I'm Pamela Dlamini from Ebrongo Spraits, Tshwane. We have an issue with potholes. Potholes, they cause a lot of accidents, but I think they are caused by not having enough humps. In my street, we don't even have one hump to control cars or something. We have experiences accidents, more than 3 where kids were hit by taxis, private cars, because they don't stop at the stop signs. They're not controlled by humps. That's the issue that we have. And can we have more officers helping kids after school or before going to school in the morning to cross the roads or something? I take my kids to school every day, but some parents, they don't. They don't do that. So can we have more officers or someone to help the kids cross the roads? Because once the car is closed, the kids don't see that the car is more closed than they think. So they just cross. And those people, they don't stop. It's like a hit and run. They hit the kid and then they run. We have reported this issue at Mahams. We have asked to be helping Ndaba Mahamsi, but no one has come forward to help us. Can we please get help on that?
Okay, thank you very much. Question in front here, the number 5.
Good afternoon. My name is Councillor Mabaswa from Mabopane, Ward 22. Firstly, we applaud Operation Fiela that is happening in Mabopane, but we are having challenges of hijacking next to Odi Stadium. The second one is the issue of Sidilera Clinic, Block Yo. Recently, it's already 4 months without security and they are working 24 hours. They've been robbed on Wednesday. The doctors, they've taken the laptops, their phones and everything, and also the Masakani van. So can you please assist on that issue? And also the issue of Theo Martins Road, especially when we are from the council city. That road is not safe for us, especially councillors that are driving from Tshwane to Mabopane. Can we please, especially after the council sitting, the metro police just patrol there? Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we decided we'll take a final 6 questions, okay? The rest is in writing. So to make it fair, I'm going to allocate 3 to this side and 3 to that side. Okay, so I will note hands. If I give you a number, that is your number in which you're going to be asking your questions, and all other questions can then be submitted in writing. Okay, and comments. And comments can be submitted in writing. Okay, so I can only see 2 hands on this side, am I right? Yeah. Okay, so, there's 3, yeah. So, okay, so number 1. In the middle, number 2, just wave your hand quickly. So, yes, number 2, and then number 3. Okay, that's it for this side. On this side, we're going to do the gentleman behind the camera in the brown jacket, number 1. Is he right? Did he note? Okay, so sorry, that's 4. Number 4. Okay, so gentleman in the brown jacket, you number 4. Then in the red over there, number 5. Okay.
Don't control the facilitator, please.
With a white paper in your hand, number 6. Shall I allow number 2 or is it fine? Okay, number 2. And then right at the back with a reflector jacket. Okay, number 7. And then who's number 8? In the blue shirt behind the camera. Right at the back, just wave quickly so that I can, no, not you. There, number 8. And that is the final 8. Okay, so let's start with number 1 in front. The rest can all be in writing, so please, as I said, if you want to, you can go to the table to submit your submissions in writing. Number 1, please stand up.
Thank you. But I'm proud of myself. I don't have information, but I see people traffic. License and then as that's now
30 seconds. Please, everyone else, keep quiet. allow him a chance to finish up?
Yes, yes. Ba ke re people ba ntwe ba latlhelang bo ditšhelete and re tshware ba bona, but especially o le mo molong wa ntwe mo ba tshwarang traffic mo traffic ba department ko re itseng South Africa is having many corruption South Africa, but please, ke kgopela, take care of your road. I'm talking about the ministers. Ba tlhokomele tsela because on the road is having many corruptions. Many corruption.
Okay, thank you very much. Number two, please stand up.
Hi, my name is Albertina Sindani from the Tshwane Youth Organization. I have a comment and a suggestion. My first comment is, there is no proper transport in driving or riding school. Probably half of them don't even have license. No tough enforcement in place. That's plenty of laws and regulation, but no one enforces them. Police corruption is the major issue that to contribute to this. I have a suggestion. I think we should start by penalizing owners whose vehicles breaks down due to poor vehicle maintenance and slow heavy vehicles during peak hours. Less of all this unnecessary stress and headache will create a more pleasant drive, thus reducing road rage, which may increase accident rates. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, number three, please stand up.
Dumelang. Nna ka lebitso ke Sophie ke tswa ke le ko Bronkhorstspruit. Sokhulumi. So tsela ya rena ya Sokhulumi ya Bronkhorst to Sokhulumi ho ya ka Nthela bo Denelton.
Please just speak into the mic. Just speak into the mic so that we can hear you. Thank you.
Tsela ya rena ho tloa Bronkhorst Sokhulumi ho ya Denelton a ena ma traffic. Ena le ena le ho tshwariwa poho ntshi. Ene batho ba rena ba reilang ka Nthela ke bo ntate moholo ba bantsi di license di expire. Ke bolela le road safety. The license di expire a ona di potholes ka matlhatsi mara accident se dintsi dira gore di license di expire le bontsi ke bontate moholo ba ba reilang mo le bana le mashimo a ona motho a ba tlhokomelang gore di license di be right.
30 seconds.
Le bona re gopela di traffic cop ba lebelle tsela ya rena ke a lebo.
Thank you very much. Okay, the gentleman with a brown jacket on this side of the room, number 4. Please stand up. Can I please ask that everyone else respect the building and the fact that this is now considered as parliament, so please keep quiet.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. Thank you, the honorables in the front there. I apologize for what has happened, the commotion. The only thing that I wanted to say after you have said that you are only taking the 5. The issue of writing these consents and giving them to the people are not addressed. I'm a former councillor. I know that those things which are going to be written, they won't be treated in any sphere. They are just going to be thrown away, those things. I've seen it. Even the public protector came in our area. Now, much has been said in regard to this. I'm from Ekangala. My name is B.A. Mukwena. Now, always these things are happening the other side of Gauteng. They don't come to us because we've got a lot of things. That's why people are protesting when you say you are closing. Please, I beg you that we are going to write and give those people down there at the corner there. But consider what is written there and give responses. That's why I just wanted to say I agree with you. I don't want to say you came late or complain about what has happened, but consider those things which are going to be written there and address them, because the presenter was very excellent from what he has said. What is needed is action and regulations, suggestions. He came with them when he presented the presenter. These things are going to be done, like the cams, dash cam and body cam. We appreciate that, and we appreciate yourselves for coming here. We are not funny people that we are going to fight and don't come with solution. So please consider us in Ekangala. There are a lot of
30
problems
seconds.
there. Lawlessness. You see the 30 seconds, you came late and then you say the 30 seconds. You started late. Sorry, but I've said it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I need to treat everyone fairly. So if everyone gets 2 minutes, everyone gets 2 minutes. So in the red, number 5, please stand up. Can I please ask that everyone else keep quiet? Please settle down.
I thank you, Chair, and the Honorable Pedestal and the House at large. My name is Eric Kapota Mochwa from Broncos Parade, Kangala, Tax City. Mr. Chair, I would firstly like to condemn you in the manner that you're conducting the House just recently. First of all, you should reckon you are an official. However, there's what we call the 8-Batupili principle. So I felt that you abused my brother, the initial speaker, because you could hear from how he speaks. His dialect is not as normal as ours. So you should have given him a chance to speak until he makes his point. So, but let me excuse you on that one. I'm from Broncos Parade. In Region 7, Broncos Parade, we having mines there, whereby there are trucks moving up and down, taking coal to the power stations there. I would like to suggest to the traffic department that I think they should be initiating maybe a unit that will monitor the trucks. And they should check the trucks whether they are roadworthy, because most of the accidents that happen that side, you'd find that a truck is always involved. And I think they must also build arrester bays for these truck drivers to rest there, because they drive long distances trying to make more loads without resting. So if there will be traffic officials who check maybe how many loads has one driver done per day and compel them to go and rest. However, I think that will have an impact on reducing the number of truck fatalities. And then in terms of where there is pedestrian crossing at the highways, I think there also need to be bridges that need to be built, enough bridges. Those points got to be identified where people are crossing. And then I had one of, I think is a MEC or something from Tshwane. He mentioned something of building e-tolls and something. Hey, Chief, I'm sorry to say that, but asina mali. People are devastated, especially when we're mentioning the increase of petrol price. You cannot compel people to be paying. There are existing e-tolls. No one is paying that, because it's not that people don't want that, but the economy is low. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to number 6.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I can call you Madam Speaker. My name is Lesiba Lohabe from CPF Mamelodi West. I'm not going to table lots. I just want to say this, especially to Metro. Metro, where's your bylaws? Have you forgotten about your bylaws? Why I'm saying this? There are cows that are roaming in Zamaya Road, and that is a busy street. There's nothing done on that. Furthermore is that there are lots of scrap yards for illegal foreigners. They are using their business there. We have complained to metros. They say they don't have cars. But on Friday, in the afternoon, they stop cars. There are cars. I don't know whether they are taking bribes or what. Maybe don't get paid, I don't know. Lastly is that, Metro, I want you, and I'm pleading to you, please be in our programs, especially at schools. Kids are moving ups and downs in Zamaya Road, and it's a busy road. There's no metro. Now, I want you, please, to correct your situation, especially in Region 6. When you call them to the meeting of CPS, they say they are busy. I don't know what busy you are at the Region 6.
Okay, 30
Please come to
seconds.
the party. We want you to come to the party. So that at the end, all of us, we should take care of the community. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Then the gentleman right at the back, which is number 7, with a reflector jacket.
Eric Simuleke to Missibo Batling Kamo Parlamenting ya Gauteng. The first check it with Harusang Kinna Kifas Makuti Galibizo, Kizwakele Kamo Hamans Kral United Committee's voice. So, put Kanyaka ki, Kohore chairperson, so Ridira road safety campaigns, lady taxi drivers, lady bus drivers. And then again, Redira Lady presentations, Modi community members, and then the cyclists, motorists, pedestrians, and the Rebaruta ka the road safety rules. So, Department of Community Safety, Ekaru Tusabiang, Hore Honohoka, Fitella, other communities, and then Rehonohoka, Seifa Mapilo, Abona.
Thank you very much. And then the gentleman in the blue, number 8. Please just stand up.
Hello everyone, I'm Parlamenting. Nagale to Wamakalativa, get like a Mokalinene, next to Mamelodi, go refill. So like another floor poco gas, he says Gasia fail or beang, Geratos and Latatacoma Pudding, Webo, Agizurung Garlar fail or beang. Nekupela, I want. Crystal is taking over like drugs, Crystal Linya, boy one is taking over Goga, Sigual, and then Wirala Luthering Azangeira, like a Tomudi one and no. So like Nega Kupela or like a happy the Monaco in Tetsama, the Modilo Diva extremely. So kopelan les kare melar lago diri heper nyaga di tusu mo ilongoring pela batu bay regisa drugs collocation and no competition no evon regisa ke bana ba banyane ba ba bitsa di space boy. So like asor bana bale ba ya tabanya ka mmereko ba ba tempten like ba ba bontsha ka mkho ilongore di dengena le zaka so and so wa ibone byang. So like le bana ba banyana go botsa ka bo ma 14 years aba sa robala hae ba robala di sessioning skolong a o sa iyo and then a ona ntho iralang motho wa tshwariwa o rekisa di drugs and then o ya police station jigijigi o ile o tla o botsa ka mkhoelong gore ya ke me brass ke ba rekela lunch eng wa bona lunyana tsebeo so ka le khopela tsenela nda so and then let me can sure like lartusa before generation ya rena senyela la ibona. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Member Kanyile.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not asking a question because I'm a member. I'm just 2 comments. The first one is that I think we should ask the city of Tshwane, the municipality, to maybe indicate to the committee, it can do it here or later in submission, about its capacity to ensure that its community safety forum is able to deal with a lot of other issues as raised here, so that I don't confuse the community here. The Community Safety Forum is a structure that is supposed to be established by the municipality to ensure that issues that are related to safety are addressed, and it must also involve communities. So that some of these questions that are asked and suggestions can also be addressed at that level. So that's the first comment. The last one, Chair, is that we need to ask, just to reassure the communities here. I know that you might have been failed before, but we must assure you that even the things that you haven't submitted there, as long as you're speaking, we're recording. That's why we have the metro here, the department, and all the rest. We'll also ask them to respond in writing. If there are no answers that are going to be given here in this meeting, we will definitely ensure that when our study is completed, we come back to you to give you what the findings of the study is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And just before we start with the responses, I just want to respond to the gentleman in the red, as well as the member in the front, and apologize about what happened earlier with regards to the speech. I did not realize it until it was raised by one of my colleagues next to me after I said 30 seconds, and then I allowed him an extra 60 seconds just to finish. That's why you would note I didn't stop him immediately. But apologies from my side. Director, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Just quickly, the issue around Muloto. Chair, one of the things colleagues here can bear witness to this. While it's true, buses, PADCO buses in particular, but they are also encouraged by the very same people here. We have an incident where our officers were assaulted by bus commuters because they wanted to arrest a driver of a PADCO bus who was overtaking cars. Now, I think communities must also take responsibility, but more importantly, assist in condemning wrong things. The situation now in Muloto is that we have different operation in every 5 kilometers. Either it's a speed calming or a speed camera operation to try and deal with that. The issue around pedestrian bridges, the challenge in some communities is that some are saying we get marked in that bridge at night. That's why we decide to cross on the freeway, because there are people who are marking us on that bridge at night, which is the problem. There are colleagues from Road Safety Promotion in front here. It will be interesting if you can talk to them around coordination and collaborating in the program that you are doing in making sure that we work together to deal with those issues. Member Malobane, you will remember that when you were with us, one of the things you said was that this thing of women and children on the robots and intersection, including the people who are selling, must actually be arrested because National Road Traffic Act does not allow that. It's actually illegal for people to be on those intersections and deal with that. Chair, I'm noting some of these questions. I see there are numbers here. We'll provide reports on those ones, especially the Amanda Sech High School and the R80 situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ndate Maisela. Honorable members and stakeholders, we are now in the way forward. We will request those that they still have inputs which they want to give to the committee to submit them to the table where Tabile is sitting. We will consider those inputs on stakeholders, Because after this stakeholder consultation, we are going to prepare a committee report of the focus intervention study. The report will be presented at the legislature. Those that they are following the legislature processes, they will listen when the report is presented to the members of the legislature. We are not saying just want to say that give us the input in writing. We are going to take care of those inputs. Those information which are related to issues which were not meant for today, like the issue of the drugs, we will take the information to the Committee of Social Development. I don't know whether I'm still in that committee, Member Malobane. We once visited Kalinen for the issue of drugs and substance abuse, where we were discussing with all the stakeholders. I'm serving in that committee. I know, but some of the sectors did not attend, but will submit because there's a complaint, and that issue of the drugs and substance abuse, it also affects us in terms of issues of policing for those that the drug lords, those that they are selling them. Let me come with a way forward. The committee we are welcoming the presentation by the department. However, there is more that needs to be done to address these challenges of the road fatalities, especially the pedestrian. I think there's one stakeholder who raised the issue of Amanskral. Usually when I go towards the N1, towards Limpopo, you'll find that there are people who are crossing that area, wanted to go to the other side, and they're causing a lot of challenges. I think it needs a lot of monitoring, and it needs a lot of oversight, so that, Ntate Maisela, we check what time there are a lot of people, the pedestrian, trying to cross the N1 from the east to the west, west to the east. And the committee also welcomed the submission by the stakeholders today. At least the submission, they're giving us guidelines in terms of what are the issues which we need to consider. We will have to do an oversight on those roads which have been identified as the problematic areas. There are R81s, I think, Member Maloban, we once visited R80, where there is the issue of the spikes. And we have realized that now is still continuing, and also the site of the breast, and also the N4 towards Mamelodi via towards Bronkhorstspruit. We'll have to do a lot of oversight so that we check the input which they gave us in terms of the colors. I was not aware, honorable members, that if you see a color of a flag in the field, you must know that is an operation which they will be starting doing it. The committee will also do a follow-up in the implementation of the e-policing, and also in the current financial year. And we will also, as the committee calls for traffic officers to report the poor road infrastructure, potholes, broken traffic lights, and etc. And we are having a concern, and we are realizing that the committee, based on the submission by the stakeholders, is that patrolling is not visible. It's only visible on a certain time, not all the times which we realize that we need a lot of patrolling, particularly in those areas which they are problematic areas. Lastly, there was an issue of the monitoring of the scholar transport. It's true. We need to get the report from the department in terms of When and how are they monitoring the scholar transport? Is it at the beginning of the year, or is it quarterly, or is it when? Because if you check some of the fatalities, they are done during the time when the learners are transported to the school and they are overloaded. And lastly, honorable members and stakeholders, we are appreciating the input of the stakeholders, and we will do a follow-up on some of the issues which have been raised today. And we will, Ntate Maisel, ke Maisel, ne? Yes, Ntate Ngwash. We will do a follow-up as the committee in terms of the safety forums around the city. Because what Honorable Kanyile is saying is true. Some of the issues have been raised by the community. They were supposed to be addressed by the safety committees around the city. Let me thank everyone for attending, giving us time, listening to the committee and listening to the stakeholders on the issues of road fatalities, because in terms of the APP, the department has promised that they want to reduce it by 12% in this current financial year. So therefore, it's our responsibility together as the community, as the stakeholders, together with the department, to work together to reduce the road fatalities. We need to respect some of the road safety, especially all the N1, R80, N4, N1, the Zamaya Road people. The city must do something in terms of crossing for the learners, whether we've got a pedestrian cross bridge. Those are some of the things which they need environmental plan. Honorable members, I think we have come to the end of the meeting. Is there anything which we need to announce? Tabile? What is that? Can I request those that they've received the gadget to submit them? Otherwise, if o tsamaya le yona e tla lla mo tseleng wa kry-a bo ntate Maisela ba o setse ka mo morago. Can you submit all the gadgets to please, are they all submitted? Okay, All the stakeholders, you are requested to use this door. When you go out, there is something which we have prepared for you. Hore he le tsamaya mo le sa tsamaya le re, community safety. Abana musa ne, re na le musa. You'll get your package this way, you go that way. And then all the officials and the councillors, I think they've told you where to go to get your mininyana lunch. Thank you. Ka mosa wa modimo tsamayang ka khotso, bana ba papa.